These two cables here are the supplied cables that come with the headrest DVD monitors. You also need a length of some 18 gauge wire and a red, white, and yellow RCA cable, about 3 to 6 feet. What you'll be doing is you'll be taking the red, white, and yellow wire, the output of one of these, plugging your RCA cable in, and putting it to the input of the next one. It's a good idea to put electrical tape around these so the connections do not work their way loose. You'll also want to take the same length of wire that your RCA cable is and jumper the positive and negative of one of the video harnesses to the next video harness, as well as adding an 8-foot piece of wire to go behind your dash, which I'll show you how to connect in a few minutes. Alright, once you get in the vehicle, you'll need to press the tab on the headrest and push it all the way up. You notice it stops after a short amount of distance. There's a little hole right here. You will need to insert a pick or a very small screwdriver to release the retaining mechanism. Once the retaining mechanism is released, you can finish taking the headrest all the way out. You'll want to do this on the passenger seat and the driver's seat. Once you have both the headrests removed, you'll need to remove this back seat piece here. In order to do so, you want to insert your hand behind the top and push out and down at the same time. The whole seat back comes right out. You want to set both the driver and passenger seat backs aside. This vehicle does not require any, however your vehicle may. These little plastic pieces with the holes here would be inserted into the headrest metal support posts if your vehicle requires them. If none of these fit your vehicle, you do not use any of them. If you do need to use them, these will stop your headrest from tilting back and forth and make them fit firmly into the holes. Let's get on with the installation of the headrest. You'll want to unbunch this cable. Once you have this cable unbunched, you'll begin feeding it down the correct hole. You want to be careful not to damage this cable. If the posts don't line up with your headrest hole, put your hands by the top of the headrest and push in. You'll now need to push your retention clip back in with the pick and also the retainer side. Now that you have one installed, we can move on to the other one. You'll want to remove this plastic panel. You'll want to run this wire in a way which it does not interfere with the motorized seat mechanism. You'll want to push your hand behind the foam and run the wire back here. You'll want to leave enough length for full headrest operation. Once you have your wire here, you can tuck back in the foam and tuck it along down here. Once you have it ran, you can reattach the seat material and reattach this plastic piece. Once you have this step done, you'll need to pull the tray out in the center console and begin running the wires. You will now want to pull up your center console. To do so, you just simply pull up. You'll want to set this to the side. You will now take the bunch of wires you made earlier. You will have a master and a slave. The master headrest will be denoted by the audio-video output connectors. I recommend running this one to the passenger side so you're able to control it when you're driving. You want to feed the connectors out underneath the plastic along with the headrest for the driver's side. Once you have both of those connections ran out each side of the center console, you can tuck away the RCA cables and the power wire that connects the two units. You will then need to take your power wire. This will need to be ran to the passenger side of the dash. You'll want to, as well, run this underneath the plastic. Once you have that done, you'll want to take both your ends and tuck them along the center console towards the back, towards the headrest connectors. You'll want to make sure that the pins align correctly. Plug this unit here into the headrest as well as the driver's side, and electrical tape the two connections so they don't work their way loose. You will also need to tuck your power and ground cable along the center console towards the front of the vehicle. I'd recommend pulling the glove box down and running this behind the glove box out to the side panel. I'll show you how to do so. Once you have your wire ran here behind the glove box, you'll need to snap this side panel off. Set this aside. You'll need to run your wire from your glove box out to the side panel. Once you have your wire ran here, you'll need to attach two male insulated spade terminals. You want to strip back about 1/4 inch. Twist the wires together and attach the male spade terminals. Once you have those attached, you can set this to the side. You will need to locate the 6-pin black connector and disconnect it from its distribution panel. You'll want to push back the electrical tape. Then you'll notice there's 5 brown wires. This single conductor brown wire, you'll need to put a T-tap connector on. The T-tap connector, the wire goes right into the metal slot. You'll need to hold this shut with your finger and then apply pressure with a pair of pliers until you hear it click. This single wire will be your negative for the headrest monitors. You can go ahead and put your insulated spade terminal into the T-tap connector. You then are left with 4 brown wires. You will choose any of them and put a T-tap connector on one of these. This will be your positive for your headrest monitors. Once you have your positive and negative connections made, you can tuck this wire away and replug this connection into the distribution panel. Once that's done, you can shut the glove box and put the side panel back on. Once you have the wires tucked away, you can go ahead and reinstall the center console tray. Before you power on your vehicle, you want to remove the plastic from the headrest. I leave this on during installation to make sure nothing gets scratched. You want to open the CD tray and remove this piece of paper. This stops the photo lens from moving during shipping. You notice the power LED is red. That indicates that the unit is getting power but is not turned on. You'll want to turn the unit on, allow it to power on. Once the unit is powered on, you'll want to open the DVD drive and insert a DVD. This unit is a slave unit, however, it will still play a DVD independently from the other unit. You will want to make sure the DVD player is working correctly. This unit is playing a DVD now. In order to get this unit to play the same DVD as the passenger side unit, you will hit the video select button, the VSIL, to audio video 2.